Hi everyone, hello YouTube. I'm here today to show you how to take a basic trade. I'm going to show you from start to finish. We're going to look at a chart today, totally blank. We're going to put our technical analysis up and we're going to talk about what it looks like to take a trade when Bitcoin is pushing the bottom of a pattern in a local area. One of the most difficult parts for new traders is entering a trade at a point where Bitcoin is looking what most people would consider a little scary. So remember, if you like this content, be sure to like and subscribe down below. We'll have links in the description. One of the best places you can go is our official TXA Discord server. We are there 24/7. We're always watching this market, which never sleeps, sharing our analysis. We're in our members section more primarily. So if you're not a member, check out what it takes to become one, because that's where we'll be looking at a lot of trades in a very similar way to the way that I'm about to do right now. So hold on tight and stick with me all the way to the end as you see what it takes to put on a trade in crypto. Now, let's start off with looking at Bitcoin here, because it's important anytime you take an alt trade to have a basic contextualization of what Bitcoin is doing. This crypto market largely gets taken over constantly by Bitcoin's price action, whether it be fast to the upside or fast to the downside. And right now you can see for the past 2 days, this is a day chart, we've been pushing down on Bitcoin. We're sitting right on a 236 retracement fib from the last all-time high to the last swing low. We got stuck at the 50, and now we're sitting at the bottom of this potential flag pattern. This is an upward trending channel that is counter to the general move down in this local area. But in the very big picture, as most of us know, Bitcoin is constantly headed up. So the question that we have to answer as a trader, is this a place where I can enter an alt trade, put a reasonable risk in place, a stop loss in place, and hopefully let Bitcoin recover inside this pattern and give me some decent gains in my alt trade? For me right now, this morning, the answer is yes. So although Bitcoin is pushing down and it is creeping out of this pattern, if you look into the past, you can see this is common. It's common to break the bottom, go on a stop loss hunt. Anybody who has their stops too tight on Bitcoin or anywhere psychological, getting stopped out before it turns back around. And this happens again and potentially again here. So this actually, these are the most ideal places for you to enter and take trades. It's also the highest risk place to enter and take a trade. But if you understand position sizing, it's the easiest place to put in a larger position with a tighter stop. Because if this breaks down and they truly break the bottom out, you're not going to be wanting to sit in too many trades. You're going to mostly want to get out of the way, take your licks, and wait for them to come back up safely and set up for the next set of trading. But right now, we're sitting on this line, we're holding. If you look on the hourly, right, we are still at a higher point than the last time we snuck out of the bottom here. You can see there's a little bit of selling volume coming in, but also a little bit of buying volume. What it's going to take is for this selling to stop, probably the close of equities later today, and for some buying to come in over the weekend to turn this back around and get it going again. And you can see in the past similar events when we've broken down, pushed down outside this pattern line here, only to get right back up and going again. So new traders oftentimes will get scared by this. They will think if they're in trades already, they got in prematurely, they'll start panicking and getting out right here. And then a lot of times, once it recovers and gets back up in the pattern, they'll get in with less of a position than they started with. So right now is actually a really good time to be looking at if you can safely enter anything in terms of position sizing. Now, the alt that I want to look at today is an alt called the Graph, GRT. And this is a chart that is not very old, so it's a little bit trickier if you are newer, but we can do some things right off the bat to make this a little bit easier for us. First of all, you should be in a log chart. You're going to want to kind of check your volume here because there was a lot in the beginning. So if we want to check the current volume profile, excuse me, in the area where we're in locally, we're gonna wanna kind of adjust it a little bit so we can see. And this is important because I can see right away on this chart, there's been some strong buying, not really any strong selling. So this tells me as they've been moving down and sideways, a lot of this is accumulation. A lot of this is not selling as it's been going down. Somebody has been accumulating pretty strongly. And I can start off by looking at any kind of trends. First off, I can see this has been in a larger picture downtrend since its all-time high. And I can kind of make myself a bit of a channel here. Some people will see multiple channels just like that, and that's fine. You've got kind of a larger downtrend channel with a midline here that we've kind of been hugging on the way down. Now, one thing we want to see right away is a retracement of the entire set of price action, because this is going to tell me kind of how far have I pulled back off the all-time high. Is it anywhere significant? And right away, you can see I'm sitting right above the 50 fib. The 50 and the 618 are your most important retracement fibs. So the fact that I'm sitting right above a 50 fib gives me a nice spot to hide behind, because I can put, if I took a position right now, a stop at about 20 to 25%, and I can hide behind this 50 fib. If they break this 50 fib, they're probably going to the 618, which is quite a bit lower. So it gives me an opportunity to get out of the way and wait for the lower fib if this trade does not work. You have to understand that at any point in time, you can be wrong. So it's important when you start looking for trading opportunities, when Bitcoin is sitting on supports like it is now, that you have a place to protect yourself and hide behind. For me, that's going to be a stop down here underneath the 50. And I'm going to make this red for it to be a stop loss. So that's my first point that I want to figure out. Where will I get out of the way if this is wrong? And that is the place. Now I want to start kind of understanding what's the patterns that are going on here. Do I see any kind of potential patterns that are going on? And the first one that sticks out is this potential head and shoulders. And this would be an inverse head and shoulders here. And hopefully this right shoulder here ends up holding. You can see they've come down a little bit lower than they are now. We can go into the lower time frame and really poke at this. The head would have come all the way down here. Your left shoulder would have stopped right at that wick. Your right shoulder so far, the lowest point would have been here at this wick. And you can even see maybe a fractal inverse head and shoulders within this right shoulder. Those are all great signs for this to potentially be the stopping point to turn around and get back up. And one thing I would love to see that I've seen on many other alts out there is for this chart to stop here, start going this way and to break out the downtrend channel and pull back. If they could get going with this, do some kind of breakout here and some kind of consolidation, maybe a flag pattern or triangle, that will give me a very strong leg to measure to look for targets up above. So if I'm entering this chart now, which I'm going to do on paper here in a minute, this is me testing early before the breakout, an entry that is kind of high risk in a situation where I think that Bitcoin may be shaking the tree, scaring people going into the weekend, feeling the pressure of equities that's about to be taken off as the equities market closes for the weekend. And I'm kind of getting myself in before the breakout. Now, keeping that in mind, that means I don't want to put too big of a position on here. I can safely enter with a 25% or so stop loss. So just doing a little bit of mental math, if I have, we'll just say $1,000 to trade with, and I don't want to risk any more than, we'll say 5%. That's a pretty high amount to risk. 5% of $1,000 is 50 bucks. That means inside this stop loss, I want to put $50. So if the market says we're actually going lower, Bitcoin breaks down over the weekend, shuts a lot of these alt moves down and breaks this 50 fib to my stop, I want to lose no more than $50 or 5% of my total capital. So I'm going to fit $50 inside of this stop area. So from the point that I enter, which would be right here, right now, and I'm going to put this as my white entry point, $50 needs to fit in there. Now, if that is 25%, That means 25% of my position should be equal to $50. So simple math, 25 times 4 is 100, 50 times 4 is 200. That means my total position is going to be $200 on this trade. I'm going to make the text a little bit smaller here so I can set it on top of here. So I'm going to enter with $200 with a stop that exits me at $50. And if you're on TradingView here, you can actually come down and use the paper trading function. And now it thinks I have $10,000 equity, which is fine. I believe you can adjust it and change it in here if I tweak this a little bit. Trading settings, that's what I was in. Reset paper trading, there we go. And we're going to start with our $1,000 of equity. Now we've got a correct amount that we can trade with. We know we figured out our $50 stop, so we can actually take a position. Oh, you can't trade the symbol GRT at TradingView via paper trading. So I actually can't paper trade this particular chart on TradingView, but that's fine. I can actually just write down that I took the position there. So we will say we took an entry of $200 at the current price of 35 cents. And if I just do a little calculation, easy to do, we'll say $200 divided by 35 cents, I would have bought 571.42 GRT. All right, so that is our position now. Now, all we have to do is wait for the market to show us the way. I bought my $200 of GRT. I've got 571. I'm gonna sit and wait. And I would be putting my stop loss on the exchange down here at 26 cents. That means if the market shuts down, if Bitcoin starts tanking and it pushes the graph down to 26 cents, I'm gonna exit at a $50 loss. I'm still gonna have $950 of my equity, and I will regather myself and figure out where is the market going next, because that will change everything if Bitcoin shuts down here. But if it doesn't, as soon as this starts to turn around and pull back somewhere for us, we can measure our targets up above and figure out where is a place we would want to get out and take profit. The first spot would be somewhere when they get up to this resistance point. That's about 60% from where we are now. So if this chart runs 60% up after my entry, that's when I'm gonna start asking myself, can I take some risk off the table? Can I pay myself a little profit? One strategy that I really love in this type of market, when Bitcoin is kind of sideways, looking weak, could head lower in the low time frames before going higher for a new all-time high. If a chart like this that I get into goes 60%, I'm going to look at maybe exiting 75 to 80%, getting my entire $200 back and leaving the rest behind risk-free to just build my crypto portfolio. That is one of the easiest ways to gain more crypto without putting yourself into too much risk. If you can buy a position for $200, let it appreciate to $250, $300, $350, $400, and take your initial $200 back out. Everything you leave behind is now free crypto that you can leave for the long term until Bitcoin makes the next run to 80, 100K, who knows? And charts like this make their next runs to all-time highs back up to the dollars. So whatever I bought that I got for free down here when I took my capital back will be significantly amplified in terms of my overall portfolio value. If I do this 10 times and I have 10 coins that I've gathered for free, when Bitcoin makes the next run and the entire market lifts with it, my portfolio is going to be looking fantastic. I'm going to be paying myself profit from all those different positions as they run at different times. And I'm going to be making new decisions about other trades at that point. In the future, I'm going to come back to this maybe next week or a couple of weeks from now, and we're gonna see, how did this trade play out? Did Bitcoin shut down and stop it out? Did I take a small loss? Or did it start to grow and now I can take profit? So I'm gonna stop there for today. This was, again, a very simple how to start from scratch, looking at where Bitcoin is, looking at an alt and where it is, and deciding, can I enter it? If so, where should I place my stop? And what do I do from there? I've taken my entry, I've placed my stop on the chart based on TA, and now I just have to wait. Again, if you like this content, if you found it helpful, like and subscribe, and be sure to check in the descriptions below for our official Discord server link. That's where you want to go to interact with us, to share your charts and ideas, and to ask us questions that you might have about anything that we've covered in this video or any of our other YouTube videos. Thanks everyone for watching. We hope to see you in our Discord really soon.